Hello world, this is DeAndre Horton and welcome to The Message. This is my first video for the new year, and in this video I will be discussing the topic of self-image. Now, over the past weekend I had the chance to watch the movie Skinned, which was Lisa Ray McCoy's directorial debut. Now, for those of you that don't know who Lisa Ray McCoy is, she's a famous actress who in the 90s played in a hit movie called Players Club, and then in the early 2000s she was on the sitcom All of Us with Dwayne Martin and Elise Neal. Now, in the movie Skinned, there was a dark-skinned African American woman by the name of Sarah who was a cancer patient receiving chemo treatments for melatonin, which is a form of skin cancer, which she got because 10 years prior, when she was in college, she bleached her skin. Now, the reason she bleached her skin was she liked this boy when she was a freshman in college by the name of Robert. And Robert was big dog on campus, big star. He was a famous musician. He had a little following locally, and it had gotten so big that he was able to strike big with a record deal. All the ladies wanted to be with Robert. And there was this other girl on campus by the name of Isabella who knew Robert since her and Robert were kids. And one night Isabella decided to throw a party on campus, a throwback party, and one of the throwback rules she wanted to implement at the party was the brown paper bag test, which is if your skin is not as light as the brown paper bag, you cannot gain access or entrance to the party. So Sarah goes to this party dressed up like Foxy Brown, but of course she can't get in because she's darker than the brown paper bag. So she goes home that night all upset, and that's when she decides she wants to bleach her skin because she feels like because she's dark, Robert isn't going to want her. So she bleaches her skin and becomes completely unrecognizable. She's real light, but the bleaching has side effects which gave her the melatonin and the skin cancer, and so she's getting these treatments for chemo at the hospital, and she's been throwing up blood, and she's been seeing this psychiatrist and telling her story and how she came to get the skin cancer and why she bleached her skin. And so her doctor suggests that maybe she needs to try to get in contact with Robert. Maybe he can provide her some closure. Meanwhile, the doctor has her own problems with light-skinned people because at her job, she's been up for this promotion, the chief of staff, because the man who's the chief of staff, been that chief of staff for the last 20-30 years, is retiring. So he's got to pick his replacement, and when it comes time for him to pick his replacement, he picks this young light-skinned doctor who's only been there for a month, and Sarah's doctor's been there just as long as he is. So Sarah's doctor goes home to her husband, who's named Robert, by the way, and tells him what happened at the job, and he's telling her, "Don't worry about it, it'll be alright." But while she, talks to Robert about her situation and Sarah's situation, she comes to find out that Robert, her husband, is Sarah's Robert. So she tells Robert to go see Sarah at the hospital, and then Robert goes and sees Sarah, and he tells her, he never didn't like her when they were in school. He always liked her. He was in love with her, and he's gonna, he's married now, but he'll be a friend to her and see her through her treatments, and if anything else she ever needs, he's always there for her because they were always great friends. And so the movie ends with him helping her through her treatments, and she ends up being a spokesperson for not only cancer survivors and cancer, people who are currently dealing with cancer, but people who have self-esteem issues and feel like they're not good enough. And I just want to talk about that from this point of view. Yeah, this age-old discussion of light skin versus dark skin when it comes to the African American community. And I see it with females all the time. So they always say, light skins are winning. And, dark skins, you too dark. Ain't nobody gonna want you. Or who's gonna want to marry you or be in a relationship with you. You dark as the night sky or whatever other joke you want to plug in there. But I just want to talk to those dark-skinned females and all females and everyone really when it comes to self-image. We all have things about us, body-wise, we don't like. And then we see other instances of body shaming. You're either too skinny, you're like a pole, or you're too big, you're like a water buffalo, or any of these other insults that they want to hurl at people. And it's really not fair because, like I said, we all have things on our bodies that maybe we wish weren't the way they are, but they are the way they are. But the thing that we have to keep in mind is that God made each and every one of us in His own image. So there is no mistake with our body. And that's what I want the girls to see. Whether you're dark skinned or, what people want to consider big, it does not matter. You're still beautiful. And you have to carry yourself with that confidence and that self-esteem and self-respect and self-love that you're capable of giving yourself. And I promise you that if you do that, the right person will come along and see the good in you, see your good nature, and see how you're a person that's worthwhile and be willing to see what you're all about as a person. And want to marry you, spend their life with you because they'll love you for you, not what you look like or what people think that you look like. And that's what I want you to understand. Today's really the message for today is you have to have that own high level of self-love and self-confidence for yourself. Because if you cannot love yourself, how can anyone else love you? Or how can you love your fellow neighbor, fellow man or woman? Because that's the first person you have to learn to love before you can love anybody else, is yourself. So my message for today is duly noted. First thing, love yourself. Because like I said, it's the first step in life. You gotta learn to love yourself. Love your body. Be comfortable in the skin that you are in. And I promise you, when you do that and people see that you are that way, then they'll say, well, that's a neat person. Let me talk to them and see where they have their head at, what kind of goals they have for themselves in life. And the second thing that I want people to do, if you haven't had a chance to see the movie Skinned, look at it if you can. Find a way to look at it, because it really is a powerful movie. It's a powerful film, and I would recommend it to everyone, not just women, because it teaches you to persevere through your obstacles, to persevere through the things that you might not like about yourself in order to go somewhere in life and achieve a greater purpose. That's it for this video. And as I always say, if there's any feedback that you want to give it to me in the comment section. If there's any other topic that you would like to see me discuss, please let me know as well in the comment section. And follow me on YouTube at DeAndre Horton to see my other videos. And this is DeAndre Horton signing off with the message.